Every morning in the wild, a gazelle awakens. One thing is for sure for the gazelle that day, as every other. She must run faster than the fastest lion. If she cannot, she will be killed and eaten. Every morning, a lion awakens. For the lion too, one thing is certain. This day and every day, he must run faster than the slowest gazelle. Whether fate names you a gazelle or a lion is of no consequence. It is enough to know that with the rising of the sun, you must run, and you must run faster than the day before for the rest of your days, or you will die. We all have to run the race of life.
An impossible event happened on our planet over 3.5 billion years ago. Life. It grew into countless creatures. Giant reptiles with armor plating and killer teeth. Bizarre mammals with wings. The fight to eat or not be eaten was the driving force. How did all these animals come to be? Why are they all so different? They have all been running in a race to survive each day. The fastest, the strongest, the smartest. They have developed unique tools and skills. They are winners in the race of life. Our hero is a man with an idea. It sums up the reason for every creature living on Earth. Charles Darwin. Darwin saw that all life comes from one ancestor. The amazing variety evolved because they are chosen by nature. Animals born the right shape or size will live. Those who are not are doomed to die. It is the survival of the fittest. Among the most ancient creatures alive is a living dinosaur, the crocodile, the largest reptile on Earth. There are 14 species of crocodile on Earth today. Most live in and around the tropics. Crocodiles can be 7 meters long and weigh 1,000 kilograms. They've been around for 55 million years, a giant lizard perfectly equipped to kill. This is the strongest jaw in the world. It can bite down with a force of over 1.6 tons. Once locked in here, there is no escape. Crocodiles might look primitive, but they also have finely tuned hearing, smell, and eyesight. In East Africa, the crocodile's favorite food is preparing to move out. To survive the dry season, zebra and wildebeest must migrate to greener pastures. To get there, they need to enter the world of the crocodile. They must cross the Mara River. There is safety in numbers, so both species will cross together. At first, a few brave individuals test the water. The crocodiles are alerted. Crocodiles can swim over 30 kilometers per hour. They can even run on land in short bursts. But their preferred method of killing is ambush. A mass of animals plunges into the river. For the crocodiles, it's hard to select a target in the frenzy of movement. For the zebra and wildebeest, there is safety in numbers. But there's always one, a weaker swimmer, the very young and old, or just the unlucky one. Most of the herd will get across the river, but some will lose the race of life today. The winners will produce offspring who are stronger, faster, smarter. So these herds will continue to evolve to survive. The crocodiles are also evolving to survive. They are cold-blooded animals, so they can live on a kilo of meat a day. But they do not know when the next meal will come, so they fight for every scrap of food. This aggression guarantees the strongest will survive. They will pass on their genes to their young. Darwin's survival of the fittest is played out every day all over the world. This is the race of life. Darkness falls, and another primeval creature is about to rise. A creature of myths and nightmares. Afraid of the daylight, they live inside caves and emerge at night. They are the inspiration for the most chilling character in our culture. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Bats. They are the only mammal with the power of true flight. Over 1,200 different kinds of bat exist today. 3 feed on blood, but most eat insects or fruit. Some roost on the ceiling in their thousands. Staying close together will keep the bats warm in the chill of the cave, and this gymnastic sleeping arrangement keeps them out of reach of most predators. The sky at night is the dominion of the bat. Most birds are asleep, so there is almost no competition for food. There are also fewer predators around. Bats have evolved to hang upside down. Their claws are designed to grip hard, the perfect position for a high-speed takeoff. At night, bats are the kings of the air. They are precision flyers. And they see with their ears. Each bat is sending out a high-pitched noise. The sound bounces off everything, giving the bat a clear picture of the surrounding darkness. It's called echolocation. It means the bat's prey has almost nowhere to hide. These amazing animals are able to adapt to survive. A few species are awake during the day. They are bigger animals and dine out on fruit, and in one case, even fish. Perhaps this is the reason bats have survived for 50 million years. As the sun rises, the nocturnal bats return to the cave. They are tired, but despite their isolated home, they cannot relax. In nature, the race of life never stops. The bat is a predator, but it is about to become the prey. A predator is attempting rooftop dining. This python has decided the dangerous climb is worth it for a meal. She's prepared to take the risk to win her own race of life. Our planet is dominated by the sea. It covers over 2/3 of the surface and can be as deep as 10 kilometers. One species has been living here for over 100 million years. These creatures have been perfecting their design through generations of swimming, hunting, and killing. Sharks. They are highly sensitive to prey, and when they find it, they are fast and ruthless. Over 500 different sharks now exist. They all have unique shapes and skills to survive. Sand sharks have teeth like needles for impaling fish. They are able to gulp in air, so they can float motionless in the water to ambush their prey. The hammerhead's bizarre head shape allows her to see above and below at the same time. They have also been seen using their heads to pin down rays and skates before eating them. The tiger shark is built for high-speed turns. He has a wedge-shaped head to cut through the water and a high back and dorsal fin to act as a pivot. The great white. Some of these monsters grow to 6 meters. They can swim over 40 kilometers per hour. Their size and strength protect them from almost all predators. Sharks are perfectly designed killers. Their streamlined bodies are covered in nerve endings. They can detect tiny movements in the ocean from far away using electroreceptors. They are so sensitive, they can pick up electric currents as small as 1/1000th of a volt. A school of barracuda. These ferocious predators can be over 2 meters long. They will attack en masse, taking on fish even bigger than themselves. But today, the barracuda are the prey. The fish form a ball of swirling bodies to confuse the attacker. They have been spotted by a black-tipped reef shark. The race of life is on. Reef sharks are attracted to splashing movements and can detect the scent of blood from injured fish. When other sharks are present, the excitement builds into a feeding frenzy. Seals. They live in the colder waters of Great White Territory. Many of these seals have learned that if they swim out on the seabed, they are safe. But if they stay out on the surface, the sharks will strike. The seal is no match. The albatross very rarely needs to rest, but when he does, he's in immediate danger. For the albatross and the shark, the race of life is on. Sharks live in almost every marine environment. Nowhere is safe. From warm coral seas to cold open oceans. Every creature that swims below or above the surface could be in the sights of one of these ancient ocean predators. Birds, mammals, fish. They're all flying, swimming, watching to live another day and to win the race of life. The largest shark of all is harmless to us, the whale shark. This gentle monster of the ocean is the most peaceful shark of all. His giant mouth is 1.5 meters wide, but it contains only small teeth and filter pads. Whale sharks prey on fish and plankton. They can filter 6,000 liters of water every hour. Whale sharks have few predators. Their defense is their size. They can reach 12.5 meters in length. Like most sharks, the female is larger than the male. Whatever their size, these graceful fish run their race of life at a gentle pace. To find one of the oldest survivors on the planet, we must travel from saltwater to freshwater. From the tropics to the temperate regions, from open seas to rivers and pools, to an island continent that's been drifting alone for 99 million years. The platypus. Part mammal, marsupial, part something else. This strange creature has larger prehistoric ancestors that lived in South America. But now he lives only in Australia. The male has poisonous spurs on his hind legs. Venom production peaks during the mating season, so these spurs are probably used to compete for a female. Platypus live in water that is often turbid with low visibility. The platypus is very well adapted to such an environment. Their bills are the ultimate tool for catching food when you can't see far ahead. Rows of receptors precisely detect the tiniest movements in the mud. The platypus is well equipped for life in the river. Skin between the toes has evolved to form webbed feet, homegrown flippers for underwater speed and maneuvering. Even their choice of food is a key to survival. Platypus eat a broad range of animals, so they have many options, from insect larvae and worms to yabbies. Even though they're made for life in the river, they can submerge only for a time period of between 40 and 140 seconds. Australia is a dry continent, and platypus need water to survive. If the waterhole disappears, the platypus will die. So rain is a welcome sight. The platypus is a monotreme, one of the few mammals left on the planet that lays eggs. And for this, she must build a burrow in the riverbank. Platypus fur can trap a layer of warm air. Even when the weather's wet, he stays warm and dry. If the worst happens and food supplies dwindle, the platypus has one more trick. He stores surplus energy as fat in his tail to be used up in lean times. He might be odd-looking, but this funny creature is the perfect collection of tools to win the race of life. One group of creatures has made a dramatic move to survive. They swim like fish, but have lungs like us. These animals are giants. One of them is the largest animal that has ever lived, whales. 50 million years ago, their ancestors lived on the land. Then they decided to return to the sea. The humpback whale swims halfway around the world every year to breed and find food. The sperm whale can dive to a bone-crushing depth of 2,000 meters. At these depths, they hunt their favorite food, giant squid. The orca can leap clear of the water. No one knows exactly why they do it. Perhaps to surprise prey, or perhaps they're just being playful. Whales have survived for millions of years, but their greatest threat came in the last few hundred. Man. We wanted their oil, their bones, their meat, and we got it on an industrial scale. We nearly wiped out many whales forever. Humans have shown that the best way to win the race of life is to use your brain. Killer whales or orcas have incredible intelligence. They live in family groups and teach their young survival skills. Orcas are large dolphins and can grow up to 9 meters in length. Most live among the ice floes of the poles, where there's a rich supply of food. They are apex predators, feeding on fish, birds, and seals. This pod of whales are planning their attack. The seal pup has no idea. Even the shallows can be dangerous. Orcas often beach themselves to catch a meal and can swim 50 kilometers per hour. This behavior is distressing to watch, but the whales are trying to stun the seal to make it easier to eat. Seals are fast enough to escape, but not all. By working as a team, the orcas get a meal and live to swim another day. The race of life is won by the fittest, the strongest jaw, the best agility, the fastest swim, the sharpest senses, the greatest size, the animal best equipped to live to the end of each day in the race of life.
Every morning in the wild, a gazelle awakens. One thing is for sure for the gazelle that day, as every other. She must run faster than the fastest lion. If she cannot, she will be killed and eaten. Every morning, a lion awakens. For the lion too, one thing is certain. This day and every day, he must run faster than the slowest gazelle. Whether fate names you a gazelle or a lion is of no consequence. It is enough to know that with the rising of the sun, you must run, and you must run faster than the day before for the rest of your days, or you will die. We all have to run the race of life.
Big cats. They're some of the most feared predators in the world. But what techniques do they use to help them win the race of life? The lion, king of the beasts, but nothing without his queen. The cheetah, fastest land mammal on the planet. The leopard, the secretive high climber of the big cat world. The snow leopard, elusive, camouflaged killer of frozen lands. The cougar, no escape from this leaping lion of the mountains. The tiger, the striped hunter, using stealth as a lethal weapon. Each of these fantastic felines run the race of life in their own unique way. The race in which there are no second prizes. There is no doubt, the big cats are almost without peer when it comes to predators. They have come to symbolize predators on land in the same way the shark epitomizes the killer at sea. And sitting at the very top is the lion. The deep rumble of a lion's roar can be heard 8 kilometers away. If you hear it, you'd better pay attention, especially if you're on the menu. What makes the lion such an efficient killer? And how do they compete in the race of life? Hunting on the African savanna, they take advantage of the cooler hours at dawn, dusk, and nighttime. But if opportunity strikes, they'll even hunt in the middle of the day. And they have a penchant for fast food. A wildebeest can achieve a top speed of 70 kilometers per hour and maintain it effortlessly. Within minutes of being born, the young can keep up with the herd. This survival tactic is necessary in the presence of so many predators, and their life depends on how soon and how fast they can run. So, against this endurance athlete, how does the lion catch up in the race of life? With relatively small lungs, lions can run fast in short bursts, but have little stamina. No competition for the inexhaustible wildebeest. So they employ feline cunning to outwit their prey. Lionesses do most of the work, hunting in pairs or groups. Male lions hang around, waiting for dinner to be served. On open savannas, females will stalk prey from cover to cover, get in close range, then launch the attack with a final burst of speed. Another method of hunting is by ambush, and males have been found to use this strategy more. They find a bush close to something their prey needs, such as water, then settle down and wait for the right moment to strike. Powerfully built, lions are capable of bringing down large prey. Antelope, buffalo, zebra, and wild hog. They will eat just about anything that moves. And they don't turn their noses up at snack-sized prey either. Speed when they need it, bone-crushing strength, and the ability to hunt in coordinated groups. Clearly, when lions play the Game of Thrones, they take no prisoners. These are the qualities that make the lion a formidable foe in the race of life. And now, to another undisputed frontrunner in the race of life. Considered the fastest land mammal on 4 legs. Unlike the powerful, stocky lion, the cheetah, long-limbed and lithe, is built for speed. When the rain arrives, the parched plains come to life, and herds of grazing animals feed on the lush green growth. For small antelopes like impala and gazelle, the new foliage is both savior and curse. Lurking amongst the tall grass is death in feline form. Cheetahs hunt by vision, and everything about the cheetah is designed for the chase. They use the cover of grass to spot their next victim, superbly disguised with spotted coat. The paw pads allow for a quiet approach. A victim is usually selected from 50 to 500 meters away. The cheetah launches into pursuit with no hint of stalking. It gains traction from unsheathed claws that act like running spikes and increase their grip on the ground. Clocked as fast as 90 kilometers per hour at top speed. The cheetah takes over 3 strides per second, and every minute up to 150 breaths. Long legs and a flexible spine allow for long strides and provide extra speed. When the cheetah catches its prey, it holds it in a suffocating bite until death. Wide nostrils help the cat to regain its breath quickly. But with all their adaptations and prowess, it may not be enough to outrun the ultimate predator. Humans. The cheetah's range used to spread across Asia, Arabia, and throughout Africa, but it's now extinct in most of its Asiatic range. In Africa, numbers are declining rapidly due to human persecution, loss of habitat, and lack of prey. Thanks to humans, this superior predator may lose its position in the race of life. The leopard. This enigmatic feline is a true survivor in the race of life. It is by far the most adaptable and widespread of all the big cats. In Siberia, the Middle East, most parts of Asia, and sub-Saharan Africa, the species is still plentiful, even thriving in habitats where other large cats have disappeared. Being a widespread species, the leopard has a variable diet, ranging from hares and porcupines all the way up to pigs and deer. As such, they are the supreme opportunist, preying on a wider range of species than any other big cat. Leopards usually drag larger kills under cover before eating. If there is too much food for one sitting, they may leave food buried under leaves for later. But in open areas with other large predators and competition from thieves, the leopard is more likely to hoist its meal up a tree, where it will dine at its leisure. Lifting heavy carcasses into trees is no mean feat. The leopard is an expert climber with great strength. Leopards use stealth tactics and superb camouflage to hunt their prey. Their spots and rosettes make the best use of the dappled foliage as cover. They will creep with head low to within a few meters of their unsuspecting quarry. Once within range, the leopard lunges and uses sharp, curved claws to seize its kill. Their powerful jaws deliver the suffocating bite to the victim's neck. Leopards normally hunt at night and dusk, lurking in the darkness, silent but violent. they face the race of life in complete solitude. The leopard is widely dispersed over our small blue-green planet, and there are some very interesting branches of the family. Sparsely distributed across the mountains of Central Asia, snow leopards are so rarely seen, they've been called the ghosts of the mountains. Like their African cousin, they are very well camouflaged, but this time their fur matches the rocks and snow of their alpine home. If a snow leopard sits quietly and doesn't want to be seen, it's almost certain you won't see it. Solitary and elusive, they spend their lives wandering the steep cliffs and rocky outcrops of their sky-high habitat. To survive the race of life, the snow leopard is supremely adapted to their cold, harsh world. They have thick fur coats and very large fur-covered paws which act as snowshoes to keep them from sinking. Persistent in their search for food, these ghost cats roam up and down stream, canyons and ravines, following the seasonal migrations of prey. They can spend up to a week pursuing an animal, and a favorite is the burro or mountain goat. This unfortunate prey can do nothing against the strength and agility of this rare feline. We leave the snow leopard and the great Asian mountains behind and travel to the Americas, where the cougar roams. Also known as the mountain lion and the puma, the cougar is just as elusive as its Asian counterpart. The Latin name means coat of one color. The adults are a tawny brown. Cougars feed on rabbit, moose, mountain goat and sheep, with deer as their clear favorite. With no claws or fangs, how can a deer ever hope to stay ahead in the race of life? Deer are fast and nimble and can leap high in the air, even from a standstill. So this American cat needs to use all its skill and cunning to get a meal. "35 million years of evolution has produced the perfect predator." Like most cats, they have excellent nighttime vision, a heightened sensitivity to movement, and an acute sense of touch. Their whiskers act as special sensors useful for hunting in the dark. When the cougar catches its prey, they help the cat determine where to inflict the killing bite. Predators are a necessary part of the natural order. They send ripples through the ecological web. Take the mountain lion out of the Rocky Mountains, and the delicate balance of the ecosystem collapses. Predators cull the weak, the sick, and the old, and by doing so ensure the survival of the fittest. And for a species to compete in the race of life for the long run, that's important. We leave the savannah now for the swamplands and rainforests of Asia to meet a creature that has both thrilled and terrified mankind for centuries. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? That celebrated verse from the poem The Tiger by William Blake sums up the lethal grace of this natural-born killer. Solitary and beautiful, many cultures consider the tiger to be a symbol of strength and courage. The tiger can be found throughout Indochina, Southeast Asia, and in the Russian Far East. They inhabit areas with dense vegetation. The size of their range depends on how much prey is available. Males can have territories up to 100 square kilometers, which they scent mark to signal ownership. A prime area with a high density of prey species and several females will be guarded by a dominant male. He is constantly on watch for rivals trying to trespass. Females also scent mark. She will spray her urine on trees, and this chemical signals to local males that she is ready to mate. The most aggressive disputes tend to occur between two males when a female is on heat. Of all the big cats, tigers are known for their fondness of water, often bathing in lakes and rivers as a means of keeping cool in the heat of the day. They have been recorded crossing rivers as wide as 29 kilometers and swimming for 15-kilometer stretches in open water. Not being afraid of the water is a useful trait. They will lie on tracks to waterholes, waiting in ambush for prey, such as deer and wild pigs, to come down to drink. An adult tiger can eat up to 80 pounds of meat in one night. When it comes to parenthood, tigers demonstrate they have a tender side. A female usually gives birth to 2 or 3 cubs, who are wholly dependent on their mother. Cubs begin to eat meat at around 8 weeks, but they still rely on their mother to catch their food until they are around 18 months old. The tiger, like the cheetah, is high on the endangered species list, And no surprises here. Again, it is man who has done the most to make the race of life even harder for this wonderful creature. Lion, cheetah, leopard, cougar, and tiger. Each and every species of big cat comes with its own strengths and its own vulnerabilities. And yet every big cat born in the wild who survives to maturity can be said to be a winner in the race of life.
Every morning in the wild, a gazelle awakens. One thing is for sure for the gazelle that day, as every other. She must run faster than the fastest lion. If she cannot, she will be killed and eaten. Every morning, a lion awakens. For the lion too, one thing is certain. This day and every day, he must run faster than the slowest gazelle. Whether fate names you a gazelle or a lion is of no consequence. It is enough to know that with the rising of the sun, you must run, and you must run faster than the day before for the rest of your days, or you will die. We all have to run the race of life.
The desert. Life out here is tough. Animals who live in these places have evolved to survive extreme temperatures, exposed conditions, and very little water. The survivors are well armed and well hidden. Some attack with lethal speed. Many are deadly toxic. The small amounts of food and water in the desert make the race of life here extremely competitive. Every day is literally a fight for life. Their senses are highly tuned. Their bodies are well protected. Their behavior can be bizarre. Sharp in claw and tooth, covered in armor. These are the creatures who will win the desert race of life. Planet Earth is a blue jewel in space. It is the only planet we know with water on the surface. This water has been here for 4.5 billion years. It covers over 2/3 of our world. Life began in the sea, from tiny single cells to primitive fish and crustaceans. And then about 5 million years ago, it crawled out onto the land. Nothing can survive without water. But there are places where it hardly ever rains, where clouds evaporate in the heat of the sun. Deserts. The challenge is not just the lack of water. Our hot deserts can be a searing 50 degrees. Our cold deserts an icy -20. It's difficult to believe there's any life in such harsh conditions, but there is. A second look at the cracked earth and the burning dunes will reveal some of the toughest creatures on Earth. animals who live in the desert are supreme survivors. The perfect desert design lives in every hot desert in the world, from stony plains to arid mountains. They survive in every continent except Antarctica, from the sand dunes of the Sahara to the rocks and cacti of the Americas. And they've been doing it for a very long time. Scorpions. One of the most ancient creatures on Earth. They've existed since life first crawled out of the sea. It's not hard to see why. They have lethal weapons at both ends, and their bodies are well armored against predators and the desert heat. All scorpions have pincers at the front and a poisonous sting at the end of their tail. There are nearly 2,000 different species, ranging in size from 9 millimeters to a terrifying 21 centimeters. The scorpion's first trick for surviving the desert is to avoid the heat of the day. They stay safe under rocks and in holes in the sand. As the sun goes down, this primeval hunter comes out. Darkness also provides protection from predators and a feast of nocturnal animals. Scorpions have 6 to 12 eyes, but they don't hunt by sight. They hunt by running, by ambush, and with tiny sensitive hairs. The moment this moth touches one of these, the scorpion strikes and grabs it with her pincers. The tail swings into action and injects the prey with venom. The moth is paralyzed and can be eaten at the scorpion's leisure. Scorpions eat any small creature they can catch, even lizards and mice. Their sting contains 2 venom sacs and a barbed needle. Even their mouths have claw-like structures to break up food ready for digestion. Making new scorpions is a risky business. Males and females get together very carefully. This male has deposited sperm on the ground. He's trying to maneuver the female over the spot without getting stung. Then he backs off quickly to avoid being eaten. It's a lonely life being a scorpion, but it's one that has lasted over 420 million years in the race of life. The American Southwest, home to 3 deserts, the Sonoran, the Chihuahuan, and the Mojave, and famous for cowboys, canyons, and rattlesnakes. the supreme desert survivors. They have thick overlapping scales and a sharp sense of smell. Everyone living out here is on alert for one sound. Rattlesnakes can be 2 meters long. They're fast, tough, and deadly venomous. They're one of the top 10 most dangerous snakes in the world. Each fang is connected to a large poison gland behind the jaw. When a rattlesnake bites, the poison glands contract, squeezing venom into the fangs. A banner-tailed kangaroo rat is in the snake's sights. The race of life is on for prey and predator. But the rat has a good chance of winning today. He also has excellent desert survival techniques. If it gets close enough, the snake will smell the rat with its tongue, but it's confused. The rat freezes. The snake can't sense it. The snake moves in. The rat freezes. The snake has lost it again. Then a startling display. The rat seizes the chance to get away. The rattlesnake is still trying to find the rat, but it must go hungry. Finally, the snake has won the duel of the race of life today. Rattlesnakes usually hunt by ambush. The prey is swallowed whole. The snake's strong gastric juices can digest everything, even bones. In the desert, not a scrap of food is wasted. But these powerful snakes have an unlikely enemy, a fast-moving animal, a bird, who can turn predator into prey. The roadrunner. Roadrunners are small, high-speed hunters, and they love to eat rattlesnakes. They can only catch juveniles, so for the rattlesnake, reaching adulthood is the hardest stage in the race of life. Out under the burning sun, not many creatures can live for long. You need to be well equipped to cope with the heat and the dry. The Gila monster. This is a lizard unlike any other. Gilas also live in the sun-baked deserts of the American Southwest. Their bright markings are a warning. Because the Gila has jaws like a bulldog, and it's one of only 2 lizards in the world with a venomous bite. Gila monsters live around pools of water. They're hunters with very sensitive noses. Gilas can smell food from far away. They are not fast movers, but like marathon runners, they have high levels of endurance. This one has located a possible meal. An adult banner-tailed kangaroo rat is too fast for her. She's not concerned. Her senses tell her there's food waiting underground. Her sharp claws will help her dig through the hard earth to reach her prey. The newborn rats are defenseless. The Gila bite kills them quickly. Her venom is in her saliva, so it flows down her teeth into her prey. The lizard has found a nutritious meal in the emptiness of the desert. She will live to hunt another day. Gila monsters can grow to 60 centimeters and weigh 2.5 kilos. And they're well armored. Each scale is supported by a piece of bone, which is a good thing. Gilas play hard. Male-to-male combat is very dangerous when your opponent has a venomous bite. Only the strongest male will win the right to mate with a female. And this is another story of the race of life. As the day heats up, the last pools of water evaporate. This is dangerous for the Gila monster. She must retain all the body moisture she can. She must get out of the sun if she's going to survive the race of life. The deserts of the world are home to many lizards, each adapted to survive in a different way. The frill-necked lizard has two startling tricks to escape predators. He can run on two legs, great for speed and for looking out for danger. When threatened, the frill pops up, so the lizard looks many times bigger. Thorny devils are also good at looking difficult to eat. And if you don't have frills or spikes when danger approaches, try a disappearing act. That was a zebra-tailed lizard. Iguanas have developed incredible eyesight. They can see detail from far away, and they have a third eye on top of their head for sensing light and shapes. The desert looks empty, but millions of creatures live just out of sight. Ants. The most successful survivors are the smallest out here. Ants live underground, away from the heat. They lay trails of scent to guide their companions home or to a food source. and they fetch their food in teams. But ants are always running the race of life. They're on the menu for animals who have lightning speed and a sticky tongue, and a bizarre Australian lizard. The thorny devil. These well-armored lizards need to eat thousands of ants a day to survive. Thorny devils are sit-and-wait predators. They find a good spot near an insect trail and wait for their prey to pass right in front of them. There will always be a feast in the desert if you are good at catching ants and other insects. Horned lizards also eat wasps, grasshoppers, and beetles. They're camouflaged, they're fast, and they swallow their food whole. In the desert, lizards are skillful runners in the race of life. The Sahara, the largest hot desert in the world. You have to be especially tough to make it out here, or especially clever. Almost nothing grows on these endless seas of sand. This is a unique desert survivor, the dung beetle. Dung beetles are a kind of scarab. Dung beetles are coprophagous. They eat the excrement of other organisms. It sounds unappealing, but these creatures are the great heroes of the desert. Not only are they survivors, but they transform the desert into a place where other creatures can live. They get everything they need from collecting animal dung: food, a nest, even water. It's incredible a creature can survive in a place so harsh. One ancient group of people had immense respect for this little beetle: the Egyptians. Just as the dung beetle carries a ball of dung, the ancient scarab god rolled the sun across the sky. Dung beetles are incredibly strong. One beetle can roll a ball 20 times its weight. That's like a human rolling a ball the size of a small car. They defiantly push their dung in a straight line, whatever the obstacle. And they have the endurance of a marathon runner. They know they have to hurry with the gathering because there's a lot of hungry beetles around the fresh dung. The males are also very tolerant partners. It's their duty to collect these enormous quantities of dung. And the females often hitch a ride. And best of all, these bizarre beetles are the gardeners of the desert. By burying the dung, they are digging in a ball of fertilizer that's full of plant seeds. They are helping new life grow in these barren places. But dung beetles can also be thieves. They need to keep a constant eye out for other beetles who will steal their precious ball of dung. Among all this dirt, dung beetles have one beautiful ability. They use the Milky Way to navigate, very sophisticated for this little winner of the race of life. Scorpions have been around for millions of years. They use the rattle to warn potential aggressors to back off or to distract prey. The rattlesnake, one of the few poisonous lizards in the world, the Gila monster. Most of them are able to move quickly, or they have strange shapes and unusual habits. These are the lizards. Is there anything cooler than a dung beetle pushing a dung ball? These creatures are real survivors in the race of life.